everyone, welcome to Geeking Out with Melly Mel. I'm Melissa. Today I am bringing you a different kind of video. I am bringing you the Marvel tag. As some of you guys might know, I am a big geek and I love Disney and superheroes and Marvel. So this tag was perfect for me. This tag was created by Kat over at Perfectly Kat. I actually watched Live with Roxana's video this morning and she encouraged people to do the tag if they had not done that. So here I am with the tag. I think this tag is brilliant. I am a big geek, like I said, so I had tons of fun coming up with my answers to these questions. I totally geeked out. So without further ado, let's get into these questions. All right, so it's 4 questions. I don't know why it went like this. It's like this. So it's 4 questions. Technically, these are all your top 5s from the Marvel Cinematic Universe or MCU. So let's start with the first category or first question. It says, what is your top 5 MCU characters? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list them from number 5 to number 1. So let's start with Ghost Rider. That's my number 5. I think Ghost Rider, he deserves a little bit more love. I feel like he doesn't get as much love as he should, and I actually really liked the movie. I remember back in the day they had these cards called Pepsi cards. These were some cards that they released back in Puerto Rico and Spanish-speaking countries, and all these cards had Marvel comic characters in them. That's how I first heard of the Ghost Rider, and then back in I think it's 2007 they came out with the movie. On number 4 we have Wolverine. I mean, come on, who does not love Wolverine? Wolverine is the Wolverine, and I feel like once you see Wolverine you automatically think of X-Men and Marvel, and he's just so cool. So he is my number 4. My number 3 is also from X-Men. It's my girl, Rogue. I think Rogue can kick some major booty. She is awesome, so she is my number 3. On my number 2, we have Iron Man because he is amazing. I mean, come on, who doesn't love Iron Man? But my number 1 MCU character would have to be Spider-Man. But not just any Spider-Man. When it comes to the movies, my favorite has been Tobey Maguire, hands down. I know that the other actors that have portrayed Spider-Man have done a really good job, like Andrew Garfield and now Tom Holland, but for me, Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire. Second question is, top 5 favorite MCU bad guys. Now, I typically do not root for the villains, but for this, I made an exception of my top 5 bad guys or villains, if you would call them that way. So my number 5 is actually going to be from X-Men. Also, it is going to be Mystique. Mystique can really handle her own. She is another female that can kick some major booty. Number 4 spot, we have Deadpool. Now, Deadpool is not so much a villain. He's more of like the anti-hero. And I think that he's just hilarious. And at the same time, he is like pretty much invincible. Like, he's so strong. He dies and he comes back to life. And he's just so sarcastic and just like smart and funny. So definitely Deadpool on my number 4. Number 3 is another anti-hero. Now this one is Venom. I actually like Venom quite a bit because, you know, he goes for the bad guys and he is kind of like a bad guy himself. So that is my number 3 on my top 5 MCU bad guys. On number 2, now this is actually a bad girl too, like Mystique, but this is none other than Hela. She is great. I mean, she is just so like impressive when you see her in the movie. So my number 2 is Hela. And number 1, it has got to be Loki. Loki is my number 1 Marvel bad guy. Now on to the following question. Number 3, top 5 favorite MCU scenes. Now for this, I actually sat down and wrote them down because there are so many great Marvel scenes within the MCU universe or within MCU. On my number 5, it would have to be a scene from Avengers Endgame when all the female Avengers got together in the great battle. Sorry, by the way, you know, I should have said this before, but a little disclosure, there might be some spoilers here and there. So if you are sensitive to spoilers, you might want to maybe not pay too much attention to what I'm gonna say, but I'll try to make this as spoiler-free as possible. All I'm gonna say is that I really like that scene when all the female Avengers got together in Endgame. So that is a girl power scene. So that's my number 5. My number 4 is from Ghost Rider. I really like those movies, number 1 and number 2. They're great movies, but I believe the scene is from the first Ghost Rider, when Ghost Rider is riding his like hellified motorcycle, and then the very first Ghost Rider like joins him with his hellified horse, and it's such a cool scene, and I can feel like I can almost hear the background song to this scene. It's such a cool scene. If you haven't checked out Ghost Rider, definitely do so. It's such a cool movie. Number 3 scene would have to be, I am not gonna say much about this because I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I believe this is from the very first X-Men, when you find out why Rogue has those white hair strands, those white highlights. It's pretty interesting to see how she got those iconic white highlights on her hair. And on my number 2 favorite MCU scene, this is actually something that I have in common with Kat. It was also her number 2 scene, and it's the scene where Captain America during Avengers Endgame is able to hold Thor's hammer because he proved himself to be worthy of it, and that was such a cool scene. So that is also my number 2. And my number 1 hands down favorite MCU scene would have to be the iconic upside down kiss from Spider-Man, when Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, is hanging upside down and he kisses Mary Jane in the rain. That is my favorite MCU scene, hands down favorite scene. And for the last question, we have top 5 favorite MCU movies. So just like with the other categories, I'm gonna start with number 5 and end with number 1. My number 5 movie would have to be Ghost Rider. I think this movie is so great. There are so many wonderful Marvel movies, but Ghost Rider is the first one, is definitely on my number 5 spot. Number 4, I would have to say X-Men, the very first X-Men. They have had so many X-Men movies, and I'll admit, I have not seen most of the newer ones, but I think that the older X-Men movies are so great. I feel like they were some of the very first Marvel movies to come out. So on my number 4 spot is the very first X-Men. On the 3rd spot, we have Avengers Endgame. I think this movie was amazing. It had so many characters, so much action, so much anticipation for this movie. So that is my number 3rd movie, or my number 3 movie, Avengers Endgame. On the 2nd spot, we have Iron Man, the very first Iron Man. I think this movie was great. I love seeing how he made his suit out of like just really scrap metal. And number 1, keeping with this Spider-Man theme, has got to be Spider-Man. The very first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire was so great. I think he did such a great job, and it was cool to see how Peter Parker became Spider-Man. Although I feel like this is something that a lot of people already know, even if they didn't watch the movie. Comics come to life through the movie, and I think Tobey Maguire did a great job. So did Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane, and even James Franco as I guess eventually the Hobgoblin. But I think this is such a great movie. Definitely my favorite Marvel movie of all time. I think that I can just watch this movie over and over, and it just really reminds me of when I was in high school. And that's it, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tag as much as I did. I totally geeked out coming up with these answers, and I am going to tag 2 people to do this tag, so hopefully you guys can get into it as much as I did. And if I don't tag you, but you actually want to go ahead and partake, please do so and let me know so I can go ahead and check your video. But today I am tagging Juliana over at Geeky Mama Bear, and I am also tagging April from Disney Mom of 2. So ladies, tag you are it. And as as usual guys, if you love the things that I talk about, definitely subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification bell so that you can keep on geeking out with me. Bye!